now we get into the nitty gritty. We have created our preliminary version. It looks nice. It reads nice. We have all the concept art that we need to do to make our panel illustrations. So how does my drawing process actually look like? Let's see. Okay, this time I managed to close this view without starting any random software. That's I'm learning. So let's close up some of this stuff here. Let's make a little bit of room. So my drawing process is actually super traditional. And even if I'm using 3D renderings for the backgrounds, I still tend to create a classic. Let's just get rid of some of these layers. Let's put a white layer back in here so that we can see the sketch. So what I normally do is I normally start with the preliminary version as a base. So this is something that I deleted from this file. So unfortunately, I can't show you that. But just imagine you have the rough grayscale illustration here in the background. And based on start with establishing my perspective grid. And of course, when I render the background, and this happens more and more in more recent chapters, I can normally just take the perspective from this rendering. The perspective on that is always perfect. While back in the days where I just used the grayscale prelim version, the perspective could be a little bit wonky in the preliminary version, and I had to create this grid here to make sure that I'm doing a decent perspective in my illustration. And based on this grid, I then basically draw everything in a very classic way. Of course, you can imagine that I have structures in the background. For example, if I had a 3D model here in the background, I would probably be so detailed in the drawing because I would just take some of these information just straight from the rendering. But since I'm really painting all the backgrounds, even those where I have the 3D rendering, I need at least a rough drawing of everything so that I can use it on top of my coloring, just to basically tell me where the color has to go. And a typical preliminary drawing for a panel work looks exactly like this here. What you can see is that I like to draw a little bit loosely, not super tight. That's because the outline will not show in the artwork later. Outline is absolutely no aspect of my style. So these drawings are really only there to guide the painting, and any detail that I need that goes beyond this drawing here, I will then put into the painting process, and I will basically improvise those details. For example, a standard procedure for me is here in the end of in the final illustration, you will find some ivy leaves here on the wall. I won't go through to the pane to draw all these ivy leaves beforehand. I just take a little mental note. Okay, the ivy is going here, and I do not really need to draw it at this point. And that's so my drawing is very very practical. I'm not trying to make it very aesthetic.